I'm going to teach you how to make 10K to 30K a month in your coaching business. And if you've been struggling, then this is the video for you. And specifically in this video, what I'm going to talk about is what really helped me finally start making 10K a month in my coaching business after a ton of dabbling, confusion, the ups and downs that you're probably going through right now. And for me personally, what that was, I know it's the same thing for you, is actually creating an offer and putting something out into the world that people would want to pay for. Now, I cannot emphasize how obvious this may sound, but because it's so obvious, it's something that we overlook, right? And I think when I first started, I was just thinking about, okay, well, what do I enjoy doing? What do I like? There's lots of different exercises out there about how to, basically narrow down your niche and do all those things. And I've helped my clients do all that stuff. If you've been following me for years, that's kind of how I started. And I was basically helping others narrow down their niche, narrow down their offers. It's kind of what I'm helping you do right now as well. But I really thought in the beginning, like, okay, let me pick what I'm passionate about and then let me go from there. And so, what I want to tell you is the way that you have to basically do it is yes, you can coach on what you're passionate about, but you have to make sure that the thing you're passionate about is something that people want to pay you money for. That's number one. That's even before we get to how to message it, how to convey it, how to let them know you have like value to offer. You have to know, is this something that people will pay money for? And guess what? Guess one of the easiest ways to know that is, are other people paying for money like that offer, similar offers? Are other people buying it? And or would you buy that? If you still had that problem, if you hadn't overcome it, would you buy that offer? Okay. And so that cleans it right up. And so one of the things that I kind of hate is this idea that you only have one passion. I have so many passions. I have tons of passions, and you guys probably have seen it if you guys watch my stories and my other social media, right? There's just so many different things that I'm into. There's so many different parts of my personality that I love expressing as well. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to sit there and start trying to monetize every single one from day one, right? So when it comes to passion and monetization, having a coaching business that you can actually make money from, you want to pick the passion that's going to start helping you make the money now. Much later on, once you've established, actually, I shouldn't even say much later on, once you've established some money and you're making consistent money, you have a consistent coaching business. I think it's totally fine then to have a second side hustle, third high side hustle. I used to actually discourage my old clients from doing this just because it does take away focus. But I realize now that if you can still get the results you want, like if your initial goal is 10K, 30K a month, which is what I help you achieve in my program initially, if that's your initial goal and you've hit that, and now you want to branch out and express yourself in different ways or try other types of passions and hobbies and monetize other things, you can most certainly do that, right? And that's a whole different conversation once you get there. So I'm not going to waste time going into that right now. But that's all it comes down that's all it comes down to, is just picking an offer that people want to buy. So when I was personally deciding to go all in, you guys know I've kind of started with mindset, life coaching, just general life coaching in the beginning. And because I was so excited, I was posting content, I got clients, I made my first few $1,000s. Then after that, I kind of went through the journey that most of you guys go through. I kind of quit for 2 years and was like, I can't do this. I need to be more responsible, stick to a professional career. This is taking way too long to make money from. But the passion never died. And I kind of kept doing things in the background, kind of still kept offering it part-time here and there, right? Outside of work and outside of my other responsibilities at the time, right? But when I really decided to go all in, about 4 years after I had first learned about what coaching was and that it was even possible for me, that's when things took off for me. And when I decided to go all in, I would say it took approximately like May, I think April, May was when I was reintroduced to a program, the Tony Robbins program with Dean Graziosi. That kind of got me flared, like fueled up again to go after this and go after my dream and not give up. And then I think because I was so busy with my 9 to 5 and my commute and so many personal things going on, I don't think I actually really did much till about June or July. And I launched my program in October, right? So there was about 4 to 6 months of trial and error and figuring out and posting, connecting in groups, all the things that I teach you guys, until I landed on the offer that I currently still sell today, that's made me and my clients millions and millions of dollars, that helped me become a seven-figure coach. And so For you, your offer certainly does not have to be what I'm doing, and please do not pick what I'm doing if you're just doing it for the money. If you think you can't, I cannot tell you how many people have tried to just pick business coaching as a niche or an offer, and they sucked at it. Right? They made zero money because they didn't have the confidence to do it. They didn't have the skill set to do it, and they sucked at it. So don't pick something that you know that you're not going to be able to do. You're doing just because, oh, this person's doing it. Because this is one of those things, guys, that you have to commit to. You have to go all in on for years, for several years. This is not something like, hey, let me try doing this for a month or two and get rich quick and then give up when it doesn't work. If you have that mindset, you're already picking the wrong offer, right? So don't do it. Don't pick the wrong offer, right? And I've made videos about how there is no wrong offer in the past, meaning just pick something and go with it. And I want to further narrow that down today by telling you that yes, that's true to a certain extent, but you also have to make sure it's something that people are going to want to pay for. I mean, that's just logical, right? So even if you're a general life coach, what exactly are you helping people with? Are they going to want to pay for it? So sometimes we get really bogged down in our own minds about what should the offer statement be? What should the messaging be? Like, I help so and so do this. And I teach that in my program because it really does help you give clarity. It gives you clarity, helps you narrow down exactly what your offer is, rolls off your tongue. You can tell anyone. All your marketing, all your sales are based off of that then. So it really cleans things up. And that's why I recommend that you use that, because it really helped me. And that's why I teach it to my clients. However, I think before you even get there, I also give you ways of how to, of course, like pick an offer and narrow down your niche. But before you even get to the messaging part, it's very simple. What would people pay for? Like, if I could sum it up in one sentence, it's just, what would people pay for? Right? What can I offer right now that someone is willing to buy? Okay, and then I'm willing to do for the next several years, because you don't want to just have a coaching business where you make 10K one month and then you quit, right? You want to live off of this. You want to grow it to multiple figures, six figures, and you want to grow it to $1 million and maybe multiple $1 million, right? This can be a long-term thing for you. And so I recommend it's something that people want to buy from you and that you're willing to do for the next several years. Now, a lot of people have a problem with that as well, because they say, well, what if I pick the wrong niche or pick the wrong offer, then I'm stuck. There's no such thing, babe. There's no such thing. Right? You can always change it. You can always pivot. In the beginning, like, I picked lots of different things. Like, back in 2019, and I was first starting out, and I was like restarting basically, right? I used those 4 6 months to really figure out, like, what should my niche be? What should my offer be? I'm good at so many different things. I want to do so many different things. I'm passionate about so many different things. And so one of the things I had done back then, I had lost about 50 pounds through, just mindset, intermittent fasting, like managing my emotions around food and discipline, all that stuff. And so I thought, let me coach people on that. That was one of my passions at the time, along with confidence, along with mindset, along with inspiring other coaches who were starting out to put themselves out there, to get over the mindset hurdles, to start making money doing it. And so I kind of dabbled in all of those, and I realized, wait, the demand that I currently see more for, that people would pay me the most for right now, is helping them launch as a coach, helping them make money as a coach, right? Like, teaching them that. And so much of it is mindset, 80% of it still is. That's the main thing I teach. And this is a side note, it really effing bothers me when people are like, oh, yeah, I know the mindset. You do? Then why are you broke? If you know the mindset, if you have the mindset of making 10K to 30K a month as a coach, why aren't you making 10K to 30K a month as a coach? You don't have the mindset. You are not the version of you who thinks and acts like the person who makes 10 to 30K a month as a coach. You aren't. So you need help with the mindset, right? Because a lot of people, just going on a rant here, but I think it's important for you, right? A lot of people skip this part. And one of my coaches, Brooke Castillo from the Life Coach School, she's pretty much retired now, kind of in her last year of doing like one of the coaching programs. But when she was kind of in her heyday and like really just involved in it, I learned this the most from her, because she had studied from greats like Abraham Hicks and from people like Dr. Joe Dispenza and from so many different people from the spiritual world and the scientific world. And one of the things I really learned from her was that it was about how hard you believe. How hard are you going to believe? Like, if you believe hard enough in the goal or the result, the visual of what you're going to create in your life, then you're going to keep going until you get the result you want. And that is mindset, That is mindset. Okay. Manifestation techniques are all mindset, right? It's changing your thoughts. That's what it comes down to. So don't get it twisted. All right. And so very important here. And I just wanted to mention that as a side note. Please do not think like, oh yeah, I know all the mindset stuff. This isn't like, oh, wake up at 5 in the morning and do your meditation. That's not what I'm teaching here. You have to become the version of you who can have the capacity to hold and receive $10,000 to $30,000 a month as a coach, offer that kind of value to the world, be able to continue to offer that kind of value to the world month after month, and have a normal life. Continue to build a personal life as well that you want, so everything doesn't go to shit, right? And I've been able to achieve that. And of course, there were ups and downs, like we all have as humans, but I'm the happiest I've ever been. I have the most freedom I ever have. I'm the happiest in my relationships I've ever been. I'm going to the gym now regularly, Monday through Friday, getting back into my fitness goals, which been up and down about a lot. Way more downs than ups, but we're being consistent this year, right? And so, in order to achieve the results that you want in your coaching business, mindset's a big part of it. Okay. So, I just wanted to, get that out of the way, put that out there for you again, just as a reminder. Okay. It's one of the biggest things I think I teach. I think clients in my program being around me, seeing how I operate, seeing how I think and act, are able to borrow from that. The proximity of being close to me is what helps them achieve their results, right? They get to borrow my belief that I have in them and how simple the process can be for them, right? And that's really how I think they achieve results, like the clients in my program, right? So that is one of the main things is that I teach in my program. Of course, I also teach strategy, but when it comes to, again, helping you narrow down your offer, it just comes down to what are you going to help, what are people going to pay you for? And so, like I was saying a few minutes earlier, for me, I realized people are going to pay me the most for helping them as coaches put themselves out there, make money as a coach, launch a coaching business, ask for money. And I knew 80% of it was mindset, right? And that's the other thing. It's like if I just went out and said, like, hey, I'm going to teach you the mindset of how to make money as a coach, I may have still made money, but I knew at the end of the day, and you've probably heard this a million times, it's literally about selling the person what they think they want, right? So what I sold them on was, I will help you make money as a coach, which I did, right? Now, if I had sold them on, I'm going to teach you the mindset skills needed. Of course, I taught marketing, sales. I mean, a big chunk of my program is strategy as well, and marketing and sales. Sometimes I say 80-20, sometimes I say 50-50. It really just depends on your perspective. So I do teach all of that as well, because that's also important. Without that, you can't get the results. You can't make the money, right? So I teach all that in my program. But it was just really interesting because as I was, teaching this program, and as I was kind of offering it and selling it, especially in the beginning, right? When I made my first 10K month and continue to make 10K a month after that, I realized like people don't like, even though they may know they have to develop the mindset to get what they want. Some people would comment like, I love your mindset content, like it's what I need. And I believe like some people hired me just for that. But at the end of the day, they really hired me. They really joined my programs because, not because I said the word mindset, but because I was going to help them make money as a coach, right? So at the end of the day, you have to sell the thing that people are going to want to pay you for. That's it. So if you're a relationship coach, you're helping someone overcome their breakup, or maybe narcissistic abuse, or, overcome their divorce, or stay married, or, whatever it is that you help them with, right? That's what it's going to be. And so you have to ask yourself, are people willing to pay for this? Are they paying others for this type of coaching right now? Would you pay for that type of coaching if you were in a similar position and you had the money? That's actually a very good point. I'm glad I mentioned the whole if you had the money, because when I started off, I didn't have a lot of money at all. I had lots of debt, and I was restarting my entire life over again. So I just didn't have a lot of money. So I was actually asking for money from people who were making way more money than me at the time, by being the version of me, again, who could have a business that brought in 10, 20, 30K a month, right? And so most of you won't be able to do that because you're not going to identify as the version of you who can still ask for money from people who are making more money from you, right? It's kind of a challenging task, but I actually had fun with it because I really just took the advice and like to heart of being that version of me, the new version of me, and showing up as that version of me. And that's the reason why I was able to enroll so many clients who made so much more money than me at the time. I mean, I make more money than them now, but at the time when I started out, all of them had more money to pay me because I didn't have that kind of money to pay other people at the time, right? So it's very ironic. And so when I say, would you be able to buy the offer from yourself? You may want to charge high ticket, but maybe today you can't. I mean, maybe you can afford the high ticket. Maybe you can pay someone 10K or 3K, whatever, for coaching. But maybe you're also thinking in general, like, well, when I was struggling though, maybe I wouldn't have paid so and so this much. So don't necessarily think about the price per se right now. Just think about, is this something that people are willing to pay for? People who have money, are they willing to pay for it? Right. And then I said, and or would you be willing to pay for this? Of course, if you had the money, I should add that caveat, if you had the money, right? So I feel like that's kind of like a good litmus test to see if this is a good offer or not. And that's it. That's pretty much it. Then what you do is you go all in, and then you start doing all the other strategies to start generating traffic and leads and all the other stuff that I teach you in my coaching program to help you actually make money as a coach. But that, my friend, is how you actually come up with your offer. Very simple, right? I mentioned relationship. Fitness and health is another big one. Help you lose weight, help you lose body fat, help you lose your last 10 pounds, help you gain muscle, help you overcome, PCOS, help you overcome hormonal issues. I've had lots of coaches who are into holistic medicine, holistic health, who've had very successful high ticket programs that have helped them launch, right? So fitness and health, of course, is a big one. And, that's a big umbrella. There's lots of things that fall under that. And then, of course, the other one is helping people make money, right? Which is the umbrella that I fall under now for this program, right? And so, of course, within that also, it's like anything that will help them make more money, which will help them, have the freedom they want or save more time in their life or whatever it is that they're trying to go after. So it could be anything involved in helping them market their business, anything involved in, like things like career coaching, anything that's going to basically help them make more money, right? So that's why the service-based industry is so important right now too, and just the digital marketing world, because there's so many different moving parts and pieces when you really want to grow and scale or you want to save more time. And so that's always going to be a money making niche as well. But you shouldn't do it again if you're going into it just for the money. Like if I was going to be a coach just for the money, I'd have never become a coach. That's why I do have people who message me sometimes and they're like, hey, I'm interested in what you do. If I start a coaching business, how much can I make? Right. And I already know, because they're asking that question, that they're not a good fit, because they're seeing this as kind of like a passive business that you invest in, and it's a complete opposite. Yes, it's very passive in the sense that I have a lot of free time. Like literally, if you guys saw my calendar, there's so much white blank space on it, and that's why I created a coaching business, so I could create this lifestyle of freedom. But it still requires me to show up and do what I want to do. I love teaching. I've been teaching since I was a child. I would pretend to stand in front of a classroom full of people when I was 4 years old in our old house and just, pretend to like be teaching a classroom, right? So at the time I didn't realize like, oh, that's speaking and that's coaching and that's teaching. And I learned more about the coaching world and how you can make money from it. That's when my mind exploded and I realized, oh my God, this is one of the like main things I want to do for the rest of my life, right? So I think, you know, if you're doing it for the right reasons, which I'm sure you are, that's why you're watching this video till now, then that part's not an issue. Then it just comes down to, what will people want to pay me for? And again, you don't have to have it perfect. You can try on different things. You can pivot. You can make mistakes. First couple of months, maybe you try something, you're like, it doesn't work. Then I'll try this. In fact, like I said, I think I was gonna allude to this, but I was offering something, I think, was it June, July? I was like, ooh, let me try like the intermittent fasting, like health thing, right? And I did sell a few people. And because I was just kind of trying it out, right? I was gonna offer free coaching in the beginning. I think I offered $25 coaching. And I had like maybe 2 or 3 clients who bought that. And a part of me was like, okay, I can definitely like tell them what to do, and I did, and like they enjoyed the interaction with me, but it was kind of boring for me. I wasn't as passionate about it, and I was like, and then I was only making $25 from it, which of course, was my mindset back then, because there's fitness coaches I've helped get to $1 million, so you can definitely make a lot of money and charge very high ticket also for fitness and health coaching. But excuse me, at the time, it just wasn't lining up with me. I think alignment's the right word. It just wasn't in alignment with me. And so I was thinking like, what else should I be doing, right? And I thought, okay, well, there's these other options. And like I said, I think I asked actually a friend. I asked a friend of a friend. I asked a friend of a friend what his opinion was, and I asked a couple of people actually, and they all said like, you're really passionate about inspiring other coaches to put themselves out there, to help others, to impact others, and to make money doing it. So I think that's what you should do. And I was like, yeah, that is like what I'm most passionate about, actually, right? And I had no idea at the time it was gonna make me money. I had no idea at the time that it was gonna make me my first $1 million as a coach. I didn't know any of that, right? But I did know after dabbling and going through trial and error that this is one thing that people do want to pay me for. I can teach them because I have results in this area. I've made a few $1,000s as a coach, so I can teach them how to make their first $1,000 as a coach. There's so much that kind of just goes into that mentally, and in terms of marketing and sales and all the skill sets you have to learn and develop, right? And that's how my first program was born when I launched my first group program in October 2019. That made me 10K my first month, right? It was called Make Your First 1K. Sometimes I forget about it now, but they're my babies. These programs are my babies. And so I still have the Facebook group for it. It's like laying around there somewhere. But yeah, Make Your First 1K. And it was interesting because, I could have told myself, I'm just giving this to you guys as an example, regardless of what niche you choose. I could have been like, well, that's too small of a result. Who's actually going to pay to help them make their first 1K? But my whole idea was, if I can help you get out of your own way and make your first effing $1,000, then you can make your first 10K and 50K and 100K. Because then after that, it's rinse and repeat, continue to improve, right? It's a lifelong journey. But once you learn the foundational skills to make money, to make your first 1K, you can make 100K, right? And that was my whole idea behind it. And it became so successful. So for weight loss, same thing. Maybe it's like maybe you're not like an IFBB pro, whatever, like someone who's won competitions, or maybe you don't have a lot of credibility. That was another thing I was worried about. It's like, wait, how can I teach coaches how to make money if I haven't made my first $1 million as a coach, right? But me teaching coaches how to make money after making a couple of $1,000s, and me teaching enough of them how to do it, and then from there, like branching out to more and more offers and more high level types of entrepreneurs, helped me make my first $1 million as a coach. Isn't that ironic? I mean, that's pretty crazy. And my clients have made millions and millions and millions of dollars in combined revenue. I see some of their results today and how amazing they're doing and how they've branched off, and they're doing such incredible things in the world, and they have such big businesses that they're running. It makes me so proud to know that I was a small part of their journey in getting started. So for you, whether it's the money making niche, whether it's the relationship niche, whether it's the health and fitness niche, of course, I forgot to mention emotional health. That's another huge one. I always forget that one, even though that's the reason why I got into coaching, was emotional health, your mindset, right? So helping people feel better, helping people feel less stressed, less anxiety, less depression, helping people feel more joy, more reason to be alive, giving people more meaning, purpose, right? I think that's like my core ikigai. I did a test once, and it was to just help people feel alive. That's my ikigai, right? Whether it's my coaching or my entertainment or whatever it is, that's just what I enjoy the most. Like, I am a performer at heart, and it's what gives me the most joy, to make others come alive. So yeah, so that's also another one. But I think emotional health is a big one as well. So I'd say there's four like main umbrellas, right? And then within that, you just decide, okay, out of this, what would people pay me for? And if you don't know, you start testing out different offers, you start offering it to people, and then you go from there. That's how it works. So if you'd like my personal help with helping you not just figure out your offer, craft the message, and then give you a solid blueprint, a plan of what to do month by month to advertise, to market, right? How you put yourself out there, how to get leads, how to then sell them and enroll them into your coaching, and then how to deliver the coaching, and then how to rinse and repeat that so you can make 10K to 30K a month in your coaching business month after month. If you like my help with doing that, like I've helped hundreds of my clients do, go ahead and comment coaching somewhere below this video. I'll get in touch with you. We'll jump on a free call, a strategy call, and we'll go from there. I'll let you know what my program looks like, learn more about you and your goals, and we'll go from there. All right. Hope this was helpful. If it was, let me know. I guess comment the word helpful if it was helpful, or anything else you want to say. If you have any questions, let me know. Comment them below, and I'll see you in the next live video or post. Lots of love, my friend.